I hope everyone is enjoying virtual reunion. While we can't be together, I will say the last 15 months, it's been really nice to be able to see alumni from all over the world who maybe we wouldn't normally be able to see in person. And so Zoom has been an interesting enhancement, I guess, to the alumni community. The annual meeting for the Alumni Association is our opportunity to share with each member of the Alumni Association Executive Committee or of the Alumni Association what the Executive Committee is focused on, and to give you the resources to allow you to get involved in our post-Pomfret family. So because of our virtual platform, I'm just going to jump in. So each of us are members of the Alumni Association. The Pomfret School alumni body is comprised of roughly 6,000 groups. And many of you have seen this little pyramid before. Trying to use my mouse to point at the same time. If you haven't, you can see that up here at the top of the pyramid is where all of the fun is happening. If you're up here, you're going to events and you're donating and you're participating in programs and you're volunteering. You're really taking advantage of all that our alumni community has to offer. And as you move down the pyramid, you can see that we have, a large group of alumni who are maybe aware that things are happening, but maybe not participating. So we, as an AAC, work to bring those folks up into where all the fun is happening. And then below that, you can see that we have a group of people who maybe don't know what's happening. And we work to find those alumni and at least make them aware and hopefully bring them into, all of the fun that's happening up here. The AAC itself is comprised of anywhere between 25 and 35 alumni representatives. We span all decades and many geographic locations. And one of the things that we have done this past year is really take a look at the structure of the AAC and ensure that the initiatives that we're focusing on are aligned with the initiatives of the school. And so in doing so, what we've done is we've established leadership roles in our three primary areas of focus: advancement, led by Jim Seymour, engagement, led by Sarah Howie, and diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is a new leadership position filled this spring in an ad hoc capacity by Toyin Moses, and one that you will officially vote on later today. The AAC is committed to representing alumni from diverse backgrounds and to empowering voices that have not traditionally been heard. Should you have any interest in any of these activities or initiatives, don't hesitate to reach out to Jim or Sarah or Toyin directly. We would love to hear your thoughts and feedback and see if we can't get you engaged in what is happening. All good things come to an end, and with sadness, this is my last year as the president of the Alumni Association. But actually, this is a really exciting slide for me to share, not only because it requires a little bit of audience participation from all of you, but I'm really thrilled to be putting forward this exceptionally strong group of alumni leaders who are going to continue to bring programming and community to our alumni body. I would like to officially propose Sarah Howie, class of 2009, Jim Seymour, class of 1965, Etienne Vasquez, class of 2004, Toyin Moses, class of 1998, and Hadley Rosen, class of 1997, as the 2021-2022 AAC Executive Leadership Team. I have been lucky to work alongside each of these volunteers. I am incredibly grateful to call them friends. And I know that the future of the Pomfret Alumni Association is great. Sarah, our proposed president, has been a force on the AAC since she joined 3 short years ago. She started an alumni community in Atlanta. She has served as both secretary and vice president, and she's really proven to be an incredibly thoughtful and strategic leader. And I am so thrilled to be passing the baton to her capable hands. So I believe we have a poll by which you all get to cast your vote for this proposed slate. I think it's just popped up on your screen. So I encourage you to engage in the poll, and we'll just hold for a minute while everyone does that. I think we're in. Is everyone in? Okay, we have a pretty good majority, and I would like to officially congratulate everyone on this slide. You are incredible people to have worked alongside on the AAC, and I am so excited to see what the future brings. So very excited for all of these for this vote. Of course, it would be remiss if I did not congratulate every single person who is on this Zoom today. You have all shown exceptional pride for Pomfret on Giving Day. In just 24 hours, Pomfret raised over $650,000 from over 1,400 donors. And that's really remarkable and something we should be proud of. I've actually heard that there are other schools that we may or may not compete with who didn't even come close to that. So we have a lot to be proud of as Pomfret alumni. I'd also like to thank the Advancement Office, who put a lot of time and energy into ensuring that not only did we beat last year's goal, but we knocked it out of the park, and all of you really knocked it out of the park. So a lot to celebrate today. That really closes things for me. We're short and sweet because obviously Zoom is requires a bit of an attention span. And so we're very fortunate to be joined today by Tim Richards, head of school. Tim's navigated a very challenging year this year and more than come out on the other side. We have record admissions numbers, a very impressive college list. And he's now joining us for a Q&A. So we have a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. So if you have any questions, please pop them in the box and I'll make sure we get to as many of them as possible.
And in the interim, I'm going to steal a moment to go off script and as we celebrate the work of the AAC and congratulate our new AAC leadership, and as we prepare to present awards, I think it's only fitting that we take a moment to celebrate and to thank Laura and her 4 years of service as president of the AAC. She has been just a dynamic and exciting leader for us. She's worked tirelessly to build the systems for alumni, the Alumni Association to be more inclusive and to engage more and more alums along the way who haven't necessarily been as involved. You know, she's done this while attending graduate school and building and opening 2 new businesses. You know, one in Maine and one in the Boston area, and has simply been a terrific champion and advocate for Pomfret School during the past 20 years. Laura, you are as dedicated and fiercely committed a Griffin as I have ever known. And it's been such a pleasure for me to get to know you and work alongside you. And I know that you're going to stay deeply connected to us, but I think the Alumni Association, certainly the faculty, the administrative team, the students who don't maybe know as much as they should about everything you do, we owe you a tremendous debt of gratitude. So I just want to say thank you for your extraordinary leadership over the past 4 years.
Thank you, Tim. It's been an easy community to serve. I've been honored to do it, but Pomfret has done so much for me, and I'm so grateful to be able to contribute to the community that continues to give so much. Okay. We now have the opportunity for questions.
20 minutes, you can ask pretty much anything you want. Laura and I will do our best to answer any questions that you may have. I wasn't asked to prepare anything, but if there's anything that people are curious about, school related, COVID related, we're at your disposal.
Tim, can I kick it off? I
Yep.
have been really excited to hear a kind of like record admissions numbers, and maybe you could share a little bit about that with everyone. It's an
Sure.
exciting time.
You know, the long gone are the days for 98% of boarding schools where on April 10th, you sort of closed up the admissions office because you were done. But this year we came closer to it, to making that reality happen than we have at any time during my time here. And Amy Graham, who's our outgoing director of enrollment management, and her team in the admission office, you know, through really extraordinary and challenging situations, not being able to have people on campus much at all, not having in-person revisit programs, no in-person interviews. Despite all of those challenges and obstacles, by April 10th, we had enrolled 351 students, I believe, and that number has continued to grow. We have capacity for more. We've had some incredibly interesting and talented students who have come along after that. So I believe my numbers are correct, that if we were to open school today with everyone who has signed an enrollment contract, we would be north of 360 students enrolled for next year. It's terrific for us to know this early who our students are. It's particularly useful to Susan Mantilla-Goyen, who's our incoming Dean of Enrollment Management, because she will arrive without having the task of filling the school. So a richly diverse and interesting group of young people from some really interesting places. So we're feeling very, very good about how things are trending in the admissions world for us.
Very exciting. We have a question on what the school's present endowment is.
So the last time I saw a number, the endowment was $69,388,813 or something. So just shy of $70 million. That's the high water mark in our endowment in the school's history, by some measure. Certainly riding a good market, but the switch we made to a really, really good investment management firm about 5 years ago is now, and giving them full discretion with our investments 3 or 4 years ago, has now resulted in us leaving the last place spot in the rankings of endowment performance, and going from 39th or 40th out of the 40 schools to 5th last year in terms of endowment performance. So we are trending really well, and still trying to build that endowment as we move into a capital campaign that we are discussing actively at this point. So very strong performance with the endowment, easing some of the pressure for net tuition revenue, which is always helpful.
It's great news. We have a great question from Steve Crane. Amid all of the challenges this year, what has been the most fun?
The most fun. Wow. Well, certainly the most fun was having students on campus when so many schools across our country didn't have students on campus. And we did take the winter term at distance learning, and for me, the high point of the year was right around March 19th, when kids started flocking back to campus, and campus felt like campus again. We invited seniors back into chapel so that we could have people there, and that's been really fun. I think watching the kids get creative around building community has been really powerful and rewarding. But it's been it's been a challenging year for students and faculty alike, and so these sort of high water moments, the dynamic chapel talks have been really, really positive. Having interscholastic athletics this spring, which we had a 14-month layoff between interscholastic sports, was tremendous fun. Caroline Waterlow, class of 91, who was just back as our LaSalle visiting fellow, I think was a high point for us. That was just happened yesterday. And so there have been some really good highlights and some challenging, bumpy times along the way. But I think you kids are feeling pretty good. Seniors graduate 2 weeks from tomorrow, and all the fun stuff that accompanies that is still ahead. So there's been some great moments of joy and some challenging bumps. But Pomfret, I think, we should be feeling really good about where we are.
One of the things that it seems like you should be feeling really good about is the matriculation list for college for the seniors. Can you give us we have two questions as it relates to that. One is, can you give us a few highlights? And the other is, what's your general assessment of the college acceptance record for seniors in this pandemic age?
So I think those are probably interrelated questions. I feel like the list of colleges that our seniors are going to next year is as strong a list as we've had in 10 years. And even as I say that, I want to be mindful that we continue to use as the driving philosophy that certainly we're happy when students go to Ivy League schools, and we have people going to Dartmouth and Columbia, UPenn, Cornell, Duke. Duke's not Ivy, obviously, but UVA, Emory. I mean, the list of schools that our students have gotten into is exceptional. We're really, really pleased. But more importantly, we're really, really happy that most of our seniors have been accepted to, and not all, their top or one of their top two schools. And that's really what we find most satisfying. And for some students, that's an Ivy League schools. For some, that's Williams. We have another student going to Williams next year. For some, it's going to a small liberal arts college in California, Chapman University, which is just a fantastic school that not many people know about. So it's been, for me, the disappearance of SATs and ACTs has been a boon. Colleges are having to pay really close attention to character and the quality of the students' academic experience outside of testing. I hope that that genie doesn't go back in the bottle, and that standardized testing for college admissions at least becomes less and less of a factor. So lots of incredibly impressive highlights, and then some confounding disappointments, right? A student who with a 4.2 weighted GPA, has every leadership position she could possibly have, who has 1580 on her SATs, who's taken APs and done extremely well, even though we don't offer AP courses anymore. And she got waitlisted at schools that she should absolutely be getting into. So it's a little confounding at times, but most of our results have been really very, very positive. I feel really, really good about our list because it's a richly diverse list where kids are going where they want to be going.
It's great to hear. Looking forward a little bit, are there any specific things that you'll be working on, or Pomfret will be working on over the summer in preparation for the fall?
hopefully a return to some of our practices that we would choose to want to do. You know, I think a lot of people are hearing about the peril of returning to normal. And you know, when we're taking a really close look at what normal means, there's some things that we don't necessarily want to go back to. And we're studying that very carefully. Right now, the focus is on making sure that we're opening in the fall, you know, with health and wellness sort of at the front of our mindsets, keeping people safe. You know, the hope is that we can get back to, you know, having full community gatherings, which haven't happened in 15 months. That's been really, really hard for a community-based school. So can we get back to having sit-down meals? Can we get back to all being together in the chapel? At least for the first half of next year, we won't be able to be in Hart Auditorium anyway because it's getting a full renovation. But you know, can we have our community meetings somewhere on campus? So that the focus will be there. The faculty will be focusing quite a bit, you know, as we continue to sort of to take this turn more and more intentionally toward mastery-based learning. That will be getting a lot of our attention. We're working on a new strategic plan, a new mission and vision, which you'll be hearing more about, that the board affirmed and voted in a couple of weeks ago. Will be getting a lot of our attention, and then the strategic planning to achieve that strategic vision will have a lot of we'll have a lot of hours spent on this summer by the senior admin team and the faculty as well. So there's I think a lot of exciting things coming down the pike. I think the work that we're doing on Hart Auditorium, we're building a few new campus residences for faculty. We're redoing the hockey rink. We're putting a new roof on the building I'm sitting in right now. All of that starts in June, so it's going to be a pretty busy campus this summer. But mostly we're preparing to try to return to the best parts of normal that we can, and hope that the state and the federal government will allow us to do that.
One of the things that you talked about was Hart Auditorium and then some of the other sort of maintenance projects. Yep. Can you talk a little bit about what physical capital initiatives you have?
So maybe the way we're able to do all of these is that the school was able to, very wisely, the board allowed the school to take on some new debt, and we refinanced all of our debt. We got an extraordinary rate, a 2.6% rate on a 30-year refinance of our debt. So we will actually bring our annual debt servicing down. And we borrowed about $10.3 million, and the Hart Auditorium renovation will be about $6 million. The hockey rink, with an infusion of cash from an external partner, will be about $2.5 million, $3 million. The new faculty residences will be about $1.2 million. Then a new slate roof costs about $1.3 million. When you add that all up, it's a little bit more than $10 million, but we had already earmarked dollars for the Jan rink renovation before that. So those are the major capital projects. Certainly as we move forward, the one big major capital project we have looming ahead is the construction of a new science facility. We've been having some really great conversations with alums and parents and friends of the school about the need to modernize the facility in which we are doing some really good teaching. But we're finding now that we've been finding for some time, but now more than ever, that Monell is proving to be a barrier, an impediment to us achieving the goals that we have for our students and for our faculty with respect to the teaching of science, teaching of engineering. So that's the next big capital project. Will be a new academic center that focuses on science and engineering.
Great. And while we're on the topic of academics, can you share a little bit about what's next for the Grauer Institute?
So the Grauer Institute's big focus as we move forward and will be this focus on mastery-based learning. And you'll be reading much more about it, and it's hard to give it a really quick synopsis. But the work that we've been doing over the past several years in our classrooms to make thinking and learning visible is a concept that's at the base of mastery. And again, you'll hear a lot more about this as we move forward, but this concept came out of the Hawkins School and a guy, the head of the Hawkins School named Scott Looney, who became increasingly frustrated that the high school transcript was not actually a very good reflection of student learning, and began thinking about how we could better position students as they were looking to become college students, to manifest or to make manifest their learning in more obvious ways than simply grades. And so this idea of mastery learning moves away from sort of the traditional approaches of assessing student learning, which really are both, they can be arbitrary and they can be not very illuminating for a college admission officer, right? What does a B+ versus an A- mean in advanced English from Pomfret School? Really, really hard to make that distinction, or to distinguish an A at Pomfret from an A at Westminster, for example. So, this concept of mastery-based learning and assessments moves away from the sort of the traditional restrictions that the grades and GPA place, and really asks students to demonstrate sort of mastery level credits. And again, this takes more time than a minute and a half to explain, but really offers an opportunity for students to own their learning more explicitly, to develop more agency. They'll have more choice in what they pursue as students at Pomfret, not giving up all of the basics, which form the foundation of learning. The liberal arts will remain the liberal arts at Pomfret, but the way students pursue learning and are able to follow their interests and passions, and the way they demonstrate a command of their learning will be very different. I mean, there's the number of studies that show that students who receive what is called an A in a particular course, the number of students who, when tested on the same material 6 months later, do not recall the information that led to them getting an A anymore. The number of studies that have shown that over and over again is stunning, and it's kind of depressing. And there's a lot of evidence that the approach that we are moving toward, that the Grauer Institute is taking us toward, is going to drive deeper and longer lasting and more thorough learning. So that's really going to be the focal work of the Grauer Institute over the next couple of years.
Great, thank you. We have a question about student well-being. How is the rollout of the mental health and well-being initiative going? And are you seeing a greater number of students seeking that type of help?
So certainly, our new Health and Wellness Center has been a boon. The hiring of full-time licensed counselors has been a boon. There's no question that student mental health and well-being has been under assault this year. Adult mental health and well-being has been under assault as well. But Pomfret students, I don't think, are any different from students nationally who are feeling the brunt of COVID in ways that we had anticipated and are seeing materialize. Right? We have. It hasn't been an explosion of new cases of kids needing support, but it's been rather a steady onslaught. We are. We're making another pronounced shift next year. We're going to be moving our religion department, not moving it, but we're going to be transforming it from a religion department to a well-being department. And the focal point of courses around spirituality and religion, those will still be there, but we're developing a new series of courses that are designed around mental and physical well-being. And so, for example, my wife will be co-teaching a course on the anatomy and sort of spirituality of yoga and the practice of yoga next year. So the focus for us continues to be on socio-emotional health. We recognize that that coming out of this pandemic, there are going to be lingering challenges, lingering impacts of what these 14 to 18-year-olds have gone through. And that will be, again, very much a focal point of our attention this summer. How are we making sure that the structures that we have in place next year are adequate to the task? Anyone on this call, you can find national data about the rise of anxiety and depression in adolescence. And Pomfret students aren't immune from that. They have the same or similar pressures and anxieties in their lives, and we have to be prepared to support them. I think we're doing a good job with it at this point in time, but we know too that there's going to be some post-traumatic residuals that we're going to be facing in the years to come, not just next year. So we're keenly focused on well-being. I think the establishment of an academic department focusing on well-being is a testament to our commitment to student well-being.
Wonderful. All of a sudden, we've had a lot of great questions come in, but we're coming up on time. So I'm going to put one more at you, Tim. From your perspective, what are some of the most effective ways that alumni can contribute or help the school?
I mean, they're the obvious ones, right? Attending reunions, staying in touch with your classmates, supporting the school financially where you can, programmatically where you can, spreading the word about Pomfret. There are some really exciting things that are happening at the school. So if I could encourage people to do one thing, it would be really pay attention to what we're doing. Caroline Waterlow, who was back Thursday night and yesterday, she had an amazing experience. She said, wow, I just didn't know all of these things were happening at Pomfret. So, read the magazine, read what's going on, and then share out with people that we're doing things at Pomfret that other boarding schools aren't doing. The best thing you can do for us is to send us great kids, families who are really interested in having their children have transformative educational experiences. That's a really powerful thing to do. If you can find someone who's a full pay prospective student, that's over time, that's a $250,000 gift to the school or even more. So spread the word, share your love of this place with your friends and classmates, stay connected to the school. As we open up more and more next year, come back and visit us and see what's going on. And wear your Griffin pride proudly and boldly, and tell people why you're so proud and happy to be a Pomfret School alum. So a few thoughts.
One of my favorite things to always hear is Paul Fowler very rarely goes anywhere without his Pomfret hat, and therefore he runs into people all over who are Pomfret Griffins, and it makes a difference. I apologize that we did not get to everyone's questions. Feel free to follow up with Tim and Joanna if you have further questions. I know everyone is always happy to help and answer. And to Tim's point, we encourage you staying abreast of all that's happening at Pomfret. As we shift over to our awards presentation, which is starting shortly, I just want to let everyone know that the chat will be open so that you can share your congratulations with our award winners. But Tim, thank you so much for sharing with us during this time. It's so great to hear about what's happening at Pomfret, and it's inspiring. And I think most people want to go back and experience Pomfret today. And it's, I think, a big reason behind why the Alumni Association is so passionate about continuing to bring alumni together, because we're so excited about all that's happening at the school. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I think we're just waiting for a couple of folks to filter in, and then we're going to kick off our award ceremony very shortly. Okay, so I think we're probably ready to go.
All right. Should we hop into it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Well, for those of you who are just joining us, and for those who are already with us, I'm really pleased to be with you today and to have you with us today. As we undertake this virtual ceremony, we hope you'll indulge us. For as much Zoom expertise as we've gained over the past year, sort of an unusual year, as you all know, we're trying a few new tricks today. So we'll do our best to make it hitch-free, but trust that you'll enjoy it, even if there may be a hiccup along the way. Hopefully there won't be. One of the biggest honors I have as the head of school at Pomfret, and I felt this way every year, and this is my 10th time going through this, is to participate in the bestowing of alumni awards. We were really disappointed, obviously, last year when we had to postpone the ceremony, and we look forward next year to having our event in person once again. This is our first ever, and hopefully our last ever, virtual alumni award ceremony, and we've structured it a little bit differently in the past, in that we're going to be honoring two classes, both the 2020 and 2021 award winners. When you put together multiple years of winners, you realize pretty quickly what an incredibly accomplished group this alumni community is. After we bestow each award, we'll present a short video from a chosen friend or a representative who's going to share why this particular individual is a deserving recipient of the award. I am really pleased to be sharing the honor of emceeing this today with Laura Pierce, who, as I mentioned earlier, is in her final year. Is this your final event, Laura? I think it might be. As the Alumni Association president. And we're really, really pleased to have Laura with us. And I thank her again for her deep engagement with and commitment to the alumni. So Laura, I'm going to kick it off to you.
Great. Thanks, Tim. This too is one of my highlights annually. One of the most important roles that the Alumni Association Executive Council plays is in the selection of the Pomfret School Alumni Awards. And I'm privileged to be able to start this ceremony by presenting 5 very deserving members of our community with the Alumni Association Achievement Medal. The Pomfret School Alumni Association Achievement Medal, they're presented to alumni who have graduated within the last 25 years and have demonstrated outstanding service to society and or excellence in their endeavors. So we are going to start with the 2020 winners. Kyle Kahuta receives this award for his contributions to secondary education. After Pomfret, Kyle received his BA from the University of Richmond and his master's in education from the University of Virginia. Kyle has worked as a science teacher, a program coordinator, a college counselor, a dean of students, a residential director, and head of school at institutions such as Chatham Hall in Virginia, Chase Collegiate, and at the Flex School in Connecticut. Kyle currently is serving as the head of the upper school at Trinity Valley School in Fort Worth, Texas, where he continues to build and to support holistic student development. We asked Kyle's advisors, Ginny and Marshall Eaton, to say a few words about Kyle.
My name is Ginny Eaton, and this is my husband, Marshall, the class of 1970. We are here today to speak in behalf of Kyle Kahuta, class of 1995, who was the recipient of the 2020 Young Alumni Achievement Award.
We served as Kyle's faculty advisors during his 4 years at Pomfret School, and were very impressed with the progress that he exhibited both as a student and as a young adult. During an Eaton advisee survey in 2007, we've discovered that Kyle's favorite teachers were Mr. Ben Morgan, Mr. Jim Reese, and Mr. David Jackson, certainly pillars of the Pomfret community, with his favorite subjects being biology and history. Kyle learned well from the masters at Pomfret School.
Kyle's fondest memories of Pomfret School were walking in the woods with Mr. Morgan's class, advisee dinners with the Eatons, and friends from around the world.
We're so proud to have Kyle, so proud of Kyle and his many successes. As his advisors, we told him that he would always be his family at Pomfret School and beyond. We love you, Kyle. We hope that you have many more successes in your future.
Congratulations, Kyle. Our next award, Alumni Association Award recipient is Douglas Park, class of 2000. Doug receives this award for his contributions to ecological and cultural heritage sites through his research and work. After Pomfret, Doug received his BA from George Washington and master's and PhD in philosophy and anthropology at Yale. Doug's leadership as a principal consultant at Environmental Resources Management has a global impact by preserving important resources around the world. We asked Doug's friend and classmate, Graham Boardman, class of 2000, to speak about Doug's accomplishments.
While a student at Pomfret, Dr. Douglas Park began a spirited quest to become Indiana Jones. This included studying Latin with Mr. Chase, wading through history with Mr. Brush, scrutinizing the Odyssey with Mr. Rowe, and even learning how to throw marauding Nazis from a speeding tank with Coach Merjan, Coach Horst, and Coach Eaton in the wrestling room. Doug continued the quest at George Washington University, where he interned at the Smithsonian Institute, studied early hominids in China, and completed archaeological excavations in Greece. He then went on to Yale for his master's and doctorate degrees, where he worked to preserve the archaeological history of Albania and directed several years of excavation in Timbuktu, leading to his dissertation focusing on the human response to climate change and the origins of urbanism in the country of Mali. Doug then entered the world of global archaeological consulting at Environmental Resources Management, where he is a principal cultural heritage consultant. Doug's projects at ERM involve identifying and mapping sites of high social and biological value, allowing planners and engineers to avoid these sites while implementing essential infrastructure projects. His work takes him all over the world, including Mozambique, Ethiopia, Zambia, Guinea-Bissau, Nicaragua, and Mexico. The work that he does helps protect priceless antiquities and prevents the irreplaceable loss of future opportunities to learn more about the ancient history of these civilizations. More recently, Doug has turned his attention to management and business development, where he uses his knowledge to foster growth of junior staff, monetize new remote sensing tools, and to expand ERM's footprint around the globe. Clearly, Doug has achieved his ambition of becoming Indiana Jones. Unlike Dr. Jones, Dr. Park eventually decided to settle down with his wonderful wife and fellow archaeologist, Lauren. They have a lovely 5-year-old daughter named Kate. I'm lucky that Doug has decided to settle near me in Frederick, Maryland. Doug is a wonderful scientist, father, husband, and friend who I'm lucky to have enjoyed over 25 years of friendship with. Congratulations, Doug.
Congratulations, Doug. Our last winner for 2020 is Esizeli Payne, class of 2000. Esizeli is recognized for her accomplishments leading the operations of Atrium Health, a nationally recognized healthcare system with over 70,000 employees throughout North and South Carolina and Georgia. SSLE's impressive career led to the Charlotte Business Journal recognizing her as one of Charlotte's 40 under 40 in 2019. We asked SSLE's friend and classmate Molly Hanson, class of 2000, to speak about her.
SSLE Payne was my roommate senior year and a lifelong friend. SSLE has always been strategic. This comes very naturally to her, and I think it was how we ended up with a triple as a double senior year. But her natural inclination towards strategy was certainly honed throughout a formal education, but there's always been a very well thought out or planned series of next steps, even if unannounced at the time, to her actions. It's so easy to list all of SSLE's accomplishments, Charlotte 40 under 40 and the best dressed list in the same year. But she's also a mom of 2 young kids and a phenomenal wife. Most days I have no idea how she balances it all. Oh, by the way, she also has a law degree because why not? But her accomplishments as a young alumna are exhausting. Yet if you have the pleasure of knowing SSLE, she is generous, she's humble, she's gracious, and she's good. Congratulations, SSLE.
Congratulations, SSLE. We now are moving on to our 2021 awardees. Our first is Jamie Bratt, who is recognized for her contributions to the greater Hartford area as a community leader. After an early career in Washington, D.C., Jamie returned to Connecticut in 2012 as a civil servant in the town of Trumbull before becoming Director of Planning and Economic Development for the city of Hartford. While in that role, Jamie shepherded over $100 million worth of commercial construction projects and was bestowed multiple awards, including New Economic Developer of the Year by the International Economic Development Association in 2018 and 40 under 40 by Hartford Business Journal in 2019. While her career has moved beyond public servant, she continues to serve on the board of 4 nonprofit organizations working within the greater Hartford community. We asked former faculty member Junko Pinkowski to speak about Jamie.
When we were all at Pomfret, I first got to know Jamie as a very reliable student assistant during my library study hall duties. Then as a great scholar and writer in my husband, Mr. Pinkowski's senior AP English class. Then as a great scholar in all her classes and a great year-round athlete. Then as a great actress in the school plays, a great singer and saxophone player in subterranean coffee house sessions we ran. Then as a great student leader who cares deeply about the community. And then as a recipient of the Founders Medal. Later, she became an urban planner, a public servant, an economic developer, a great mother, and she continued to be a wonderful friend to have a cup of coffee with over arts and culture talk. The things about Jamie is she pours her passion, compassion, and dedication into all she does and for the betterment of others and community around her. She's a truly inspiring person. Congratulations, Jamie, for your awesome achievements. And we can't wait to see what's next to come.
Hey, Jamie, you're a sensational student, person, and friend. You make everything better that you're a part of. Can't think of someone more fit for the award. Cheers, congratulations.
Congratulations, Jamie.
Congratulations, Jamie. Our second 2021 Alumni Achievement Medal goes to Dr. Thomas Garrison, class of 1996, for his pioneering work using LiDAR technology to reveal hidden ruins beneath large swaths of the Guatemalan jungle. After receiving his BA at Connecticut College, Tom received his master's and PhD in anthropology at Harvard before embarking on an impressive anthropological archaeology career. He is renowned for using digital spatial technologies in archaeology. Tom's work has been featured on PBS, the National Geographic, and in the Washington Post. We asked our own Louisa Jones to speak about Tom and his accomplishments.
Having worked closely with Tom during his years at Pomfret, I've been following him since graduation. As a prefect in Pine, there are many stories of his leadership looking out for and taking care of his charges. Tom was a passionate athlete, most specifically football and baseball. After breaking his neck his sophomore year, he worked his way back to playing shape. He loved being part of every program. Tom found his love for the stage, first through music and then theater. With encouragement from Kathy Atwood, Tom finished his Pomfret career performing in 4 major shows. After leaving Pomfret, Tom pursued his passion for anthropology, first at Connecticut College and then earning his master's and PhD from Harvard. Tom credits his Spanish teacher, Dina Cocozo O'Hara, in getting him started on his fluency in the language, as it has been invaluable in his work. Tom currently is at the University of Texas at Austin as an assistant professor in the Department of Geography and Environment, as well as the director of LIDAR and Landscapes of the Ancient and Modern Americas. When I reached out to Tom in preparation for his 25th reunion in May, he sent his CV, all 37 pages of it. He's been on the faculty at 5 colleges, co-authored 4 books, written numerous articles, and then some more, and been on the National Geographic Channel, PBS, and Nova, to name a few. Clearly, Tom is deserving of this recognition. Known affectionately as Walt to the Jones family, it is with pleasure that I present the 2021 Alumni Association Achievement Medal to Pomfret's own Indiana Jones, Tom Garrison.
Congratulations, Tom. Who knew that we had multiple Indiana Joneses graduating from Pomfret? I am now going to turn it over to Tim, who is going to share with you the Athletic Hall of Fame inductees.
Thanks so much, Laura. Congratulations to those extraordinary winners. The Pomfret School Alumni Association Athletic Hall of Fame was created to recognize those Pomfret athletes, coaches, and friends who have demonstrated throughout their career those qualities that identify them as champions. One of the goals of the Hall of Fame is to link past and current student athletes, past and current generations of student athletes, and to encourage current student athletes to embrace the many opportunities available to them through teamwork, determination, and dedication. Easy for me to say. Today, we induct 4 recipients, starting with 2 from the class of 2020. Not from the class of 2020, last year's class. Sheila Colleen was a 3-sport athlete at Pomfret, especially impressive at a time when there were far fewer opportunities for women in athletics. She played varsity soccer for 3 years, including on 2 undefeated teams, played varsity basketball for 3 years, also including 2 undefeated seasons, and played on the boys varsity tennis team for 3 seasons. Sheila went on to attend Skidmore College, where she played on a Skidmore basketball team whose success was the vanguard of a new level of competition and recognition for female athletes. As a result, in 2006, Sheila was inducted into the Skidmore College Athletic Hall of Fame, along with her 1976-77 team. For her pioneering accomplishments at Pomfret and Skidmore, it is my honor to induct Sheila Colleen into the Pomfret Athletic Hall of Fame. We ask friend and classmate Charlie Cole to speak about Sheila.
Sheila, hi, it's Charlie. Congratulations on receiving this award from Pomfret for the Athletic Hall of Fame. Nobody deserves it more than you do. Gosh, back in the early 70s, Pomfret made a smart choice to go co-ed, and you were part of that process, and it changed the school. It saved the school. And you had a tough road of it. I don't know if you remember that awful little locker room that you guys were stuffed in the back of the gym, but it was awful. And I'm not even sure you guys had uniforms for half the sports you were playing. But anyway, you did it with a passion in your heart and always had a smile on your face. And it was so much fun to watch you. I remember turning to guys like Henry Strong or Waz and saying, watch this, Sheila's got the ball. It was just great. Congratulations, my dear. I hope to see you soon. I know I saw you a couple of years ago. You looked great, and take care of those knees. I love you, Sheila. I'll talk to you later. Congratulations.
Our next award winner is Herman Bink Smith from the class of 1958. Bink Smith was a 3-sport athlete in baseball, hockey, and football, and winner of 7 varsity letters, including captaining the undefeated 1957-58 Pomfret football team during his 6th form year. After Pomfret, Bink earned All-American status as captain of the Colby College football team. He continued his impact in the athletic space as a coach at the high school and collegiate level, and then as an executive at Nike. For his accomplishments both on and off the field, we are pleased to induct Bink Smith into Pomfret's Athletic Hall of Fame. We ask classmate Ed Johnson to write some remarks that are read here by fellow classmate David Sage.
Herman Bink Smith entered Pomfret in the fall of '55 as a fourth former and quickly established himself as a competent athlete. In fact, he became one of the best athletes in school history. In his fourth form year alone, he scored the highest batting average at varsity baseball. He lettered 3 years in baseball, 2 in hockey, and 2 on the undefeated football team, where he was also captain his senior year. Bink went on to get his BA at Colby, receiving the All-American Award as captain of football, followed by a master's program at the University of Oregon. He had outstanding teaching and coaching careers at the University of Oregon, Suffield Academy, Central Connecticut State University, and the University of Vermont. His business career was with Nike, Inc. He involved positions as global GM for contract manufacturing and general manager for Asia. He created an outstanding leadership program at Nike and then taught it to the employees in South Korea and China. In short, Bink gave of himself to others through athletics long after Pomfret. Ed and I and the rest of his classmates are proud to see him so recognized. Thank you.
Congratulations to Sheila and Bink. And now on to our 2021 inductees into the Hall of Fame. Mustafa Abdul Salam, then Earl Wilson, was a multi-sport athlete who captained the Pomfret basketball team for 2 seasons, 1969-70, 1970-71, leading both teams to the New England Prep School basketball tournament. In his 5th form year, Pomfret won the championship and Mustafa was selected as the tournament MVP. In addition to his accomplishments on the hardwood, Mustafa set a school record in the 100-yard dash. Upon graduation from Pomfret, Mustafa started basketball at UConn, where he was a 3-year starter and captain during his senior season. After Pomfret, Mustafa has had a successful career in community economic development and human service in delivery. For his incredible talent and leadership throughout his basketball career, we are pleased to induct Mustafa Abdul Salam into the Pomfret Athletic Hall of Fame. We ask friend and fellow alum Eric Coleman to say a few words about Mustafa.
Very early on, it became apparent that Mustafa was an extraordinarily gifted athletic talent. While at Pomfret, he had considerable success as a football player, a basketball player, and as a member of the track team. Arguably, perhaps his greatest impact athletically at Pomfret was as a basketball player. During the 1968-69 basketball season, he was the first or second option on a very successful basketball team. Then in 1971, he not only led Pomfret's varsity basketball team to the New England Prep School basketball tournament championship, but he was also named that tournament's most valuable player. After his graduation from Pomfret, Mustafa had an outstanding career as a basketball player with the University of Connecticut. I remember watching many of his games with delight and great pride. He is most deserving of induction as a member of Pomfret School's Athletic Hall of Fame. I congratulate him concerning this honor.
Very well-deserved award. Paul Callahan from the class of 1976. At the age of 21, while a student at Harvard University, Paul Callahan was paralyzed from the chest down in an accident. Since then, Paul has persevered to rise to the highest levels of his sport, representing USA sailing at both the 2000 and 2012 Paralympics. In addition to his own athletic achievements, for over 25 years, Paul has been the CEO of Sail to Prevail, a nonprofit organization based in Newport, Rhode Island. Sail to Prevail is the largest sailing program for people with disabilities in the United States, exposing over 1,000 new sailors to the sport each year. Paul has served on the USA Olympic Sailing Committee and is the president of USODA, the largest organization of youth sailors in the country. For his ability to overcome significant challenge, compete at the highest level in his sport, and run a program committed to helping others do the same, it is my pleasure to induct Paul Callahan into the Pomfret Alumni Athletic Hall of Fame. We've asked friend George Brett to speak about Paul.
Paul Callahan was the leading scorer on the varsity basketball team at Pomfret. You already know that. I met him at Harvard. He was a friend through the 4 years, and he was my roommate senior year. He got an undergraduate degree from Harvard, and then he got an MBA from Harvard. He had a career at Goldman Sachs, and then he did some real estate development. He got married. He had twin sons. He represented the United States in the Olympics twice, and is now CEO of a nonprofit that leverages his ability to, as he says, affect people's lives in ways others can't. And he did all of that after becoming a quadriplegic. Paul is a shining example of making the best of mind, body, and spirit. He chooses to focus on the positive instead of the negative, so he and others can overcome adversity. Paul is absolutely one of my personal heroes, and it's wonderful to know he's now one of yours.
Congratulations to all of the Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. Your contributions to your sports and to the broader world are truly impressive. Laura will now present the Alumni Award.
The Pomfret School Alumni Award was established in 1963 and is given annually to an alumnus or alumna who has achieved distinction in his or her chosen profession and has demonstrated ongoing interest, loyalty, and commitment to the school. Past Alumni Award winners have demonstrated professional successes as well as the willingness to maintain a lifelong relationship with Pomfret. This award is one of the top 2 honors the school gives to a member of the alumni community. The winner of the 2020 Alumni Award has a fascination with all things environmental. As the director of the Environmental Analysis Program and the W.M. Keck Professor of Environmental Analysis, Researcher, program, hang on, sorry. This is very impressive. William W.M. Keck Professor of Environmental Analysis at Pomona College, Char Miller, class of 70, is a leading environmental analysis researcher and educator. Char's teaching and research on subjects such as U.S. environmental history, water in the U.S. West, and public lands management inform his writing, and he has had numerous books published in these areas. Char's expertise has led to him serving as a consulting historian for more than a dozen documentaries, and he has worked with multiple museums to develop exhibits and educational materials. We are inspired by his work, and it is my great privilege to give the 2020 Alumni Award to Char Miller, class of 1970. We've asked Char's classmate, Gil Judson, to say a few words about Char.
It's an honor and pleasure to speak about why Char is so deserving of this Alumni Award. Char has earned this award for all his accomplishments in his career. His PhD from Johns Hopkins, the many books he's written, his award-winning work in environmental studies, history, land and water management, and many more areas. All of that have truly helped to have a better world. But why Char also deserves this award is his outstanding contribution to and care for people. His dedication and commitment to his family, his students, his community, and his friends. And that last contribution I can speak about firsthand. At Pomfret, we saw his determination to having a just and better society when he started so strong during the years of resisting the Vietnam War, fighting for civil rights, and having people dealt with fairly starting at Pomfret. He has stayed strong in those commitments, and he still demonstrates his commitment and values today. As an example, I have referred many young people interested in environmental studies and issues to Char, and he has always done a brilliant job of supporting them. Char has also been a leader. At Pomfret, he was a leader on the social issues, student engagement, on the hockey field, and sports field. And he continues to provide that leadership today for us with our class reunion planning and making sure our class makes a meaningful contribution to the school. As with all of us in the class of 1970, so many of our values and commitments were formed during the Pomfret years. Char has been an extraordinary example of someone that stays true to those values throughout his life. Congratulations, Char.
Congratulations, Char. Our 2021 Alumni Award winner embodies what it means to stand out amongst the competition. As the co-founder and CEO of Walrus, a New York advertising agency, Frances Webster, class of 1991, is a leader who strives to stand apart. Over the past 15 years, with fellow Pomfret alum and husband Deacon, class of 91, Frances has built Walrus into an award-winning agency that is focused on changing how the world sees ads by putting the audience first and using humor and positivity to do it. Frances's leadership extends to her commitment to empowering female leaders in advertising, first by ensuring equitable hiring at Walrus and creating a professional network of ad women in business. We are proud that she is a part of our alumni community, and it is a great honor to award Frances Webster the 2021 Alumni Award. We've asked her classmate Joni Collins, class of 91, to say a few words about Frances.
I nominated Frances for this award because I'm just honestly so proud of her and her achievements, not only in business, but her passion for living, her travels, her interest in outdoors, climbing mountains for fun, and running the New York Marathon, the New York City Marathon. I can't even keep count how many times she's run that thing. It's amazing. She does all of these things while running her business and raising a family, and somehow just she seems to make it look all so easy. In terms of this particular award, this award is about distinction in a profession and the demonstration of ongoing interest, loyalty, and commitment to the school. And Frances demonstrates all of these traits and many more. Her advertising agency, Walrus, has won so many awards, and her client list continues to grow, which amazes me, and I'm just, again, so proud of her, with companies like Amazon, General Mills, Bloomberg, and HBO. She's doing this while she's raising her 2 children, and she somehow makes the time to give back and serves on her alma mater's business school advisory board, the University of the South. She's received multiple awards, an EQB award in 2018. She sits on so many other advertising agency boards. I can't even list them all. She's featured in publications, the Huffington Post, Adweek, Campaign US, and Business Insider. And most importantly, she also gives back to the community, in particular Pomfret. She's on the LaSalle Alumni Program. She served as the keynote speaker. And then she's also presented at Pomfret's Career Day. I'm so thankful and fortunate to have met Frances that day at Pomfret as we embarked on our journey as freshmen. And we've kept in touch over the years. I'm proud that she is the recipient of the Pomfret Alumni Award. Congratulations, Frances.
Congratulations, Frances. Tim will now present the William Beach Olmsted Award.
In 1991, the Alumni Association of Pomfret School established the William Beach Olmsted Distinguished Service Award. The award was created to recognize and honor distinguished, sustained, and dedicated service to Pomfret School. It is named in honor of the Reverend William Beach Olmsted, who served as headmaster for 32 years until his death in 1929. Like the Alumni Award, this is one of the highest honors the school bestows on a graduate or friend. Our 2020 honoree is an individual who really needs no introduction. He served as the 6th headmaster of Pomfret School from 1961 to 1973, after previously being on the faculty as a history teacher. During Jay Milner's tenure as head of school, or headmaster at the time, Pomfret graduated its first African-American student as well as its first female student, successfully ushering Pomfret into the era of coeducation. When Jay retired from Pomfret in 1973, he left an indelible mark on the social fabric and political consciousness of the school. In 2003, he was highlighted as a founding father of coeducation. And in 2015, Jay was honored with a diversity award by John Eyrick, class of 1965, where he was referred to as the father of diversity at Pomfret School. Jay was known for his staunch defense and support of the faculty, and his impact on the culture and people of Pomfret is clearly evidenced by the number of alumni and former colleagues who remain friends with him to this day. Thank you, Mr. Milner, and congratulations. I have appreciated your friendship along the way. We've asked former student Charlie Rayburn to speak a few words about Jay.
Jay was at the helm of a wonderful group of faculty when I was there from 69 to 73, all of whom were guiding us in the direction we were sort of searching for. So after 4 years, Jay recommended that I be a student teacher in the American International School in Vienna, Austria, which I followed up on and had some wonderful experiences in Europe and even visited the Soviet Union. They've had a profound effect on me throughout my life. So through the years, I always communicated and kept up with Jay. And I was speaking with Jay in January of 2019, and he said, why don't you come up next week here to Peabody, and I'm receiving the French Legion of Honor. So I did. And it was really wonderful to be with many friends and Jay's family, children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And Jay spoke, and it was like very much like being back at a Pomfret School meeting. So congratulations, Jay, and thank you for everything, and thank you, Pomfret.
Congratulations, Jay. Our 2021 William Beach Olmsted Distinguished Service Award goes to a person who has touched every facet of Pomfret School. A graduate of the class of 1978, Arthur Diaz has served the school in countless ways, first as a class agent and then as a trustee. In 2005, when Pomfret was in need of a CFO, Arthur answered the call and served the school exceptionally for 10 years. During this time, he also was a teacher, coach, and an advisor, as well as being a parent of 3 outstanding Pomfret graduates. When he left Pomfret in 2015, Arthur was described as Mr. Everything to Pomfret School. Following his retirement, Arthur has continued to remain engaged at Pomfret, both on the playing field as a coach and as a teacher. It is impossible to calculate the impact Arthur Diaz has had on Pomfret School, and I'm privileged to have had the opportunity to work with him and to call him a friend. Congratulations, Arthur. We've asked fellow alum Andy Beal to say a few words about Arthur.
The William Beach Olmsted Award was created to recognize and honor distinguished, sustained, and dedicated service to Pomfret. This sentence was written in 1991. 30 years later, it perfectly describes Arthur Diaz. He graduated in 1978 and then went on to some slightly less prestigious schools, Princeton and Stanford. Arthur worked at Amico for 2 decades, while he was also on the board of trustees. When Pomfret needed a CFO in 2005, Arthur changed hats and came back to help guide the school's finances. During this time, he also taught a course, coached JV girls soccer, and became the forum dean for the mighty class of 2014. Pomfret is a family affair for the Diaz clan. His mother served as a trustee, all his siblings, and his 3 children studied at the Hilltop. Today, while officially retired, Arthur drives an hour each way to again teach and coach his beloved JV girls soccer team at Pomfret. What is missing from this chronology of Arthur's involvement with the school is how he embraces each role. He's been called the Pied Piper of JV soccer because of his relentless energy in developing his teams and the individuals that make them up. When we were on Third's basketball team together in 1975, but that's a story for another time. Here is a list of previous Olmsted Award winners. This is the pantheon of people who made Pomfret the wonderful place that we all love so much. Chick Cole, Per Ranhoff, Walt Hinchman, Brad Hastings. The name Arthur Diaz will fit very nicely onto this list. Thank you, but more important, congratulations, Arthur.
Congratulations, Arthur, and to all of our award winners. I'm going to pass it on to Laura now just for a few closing remarks, but I want to thank personally from myself, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed your reunion alumni weekend, even in virtual form. So Laura.
What an inspiring 45 minutes. That concludes our alumni awards and our reunion program. We're so grateful to all of you for joining us. And I want to extend a final congratulations to the 2020 and 2021 award winners. What a deserving group. We are really, really looking forward to seeing so many of you back on campus next year. I've heard that it's going to be a 3-year reunion, so I'm sure it will be exciting, fun, and equally as inspiring. So until then, thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you then.